Hello, Tar Heel Nation. We are back with another episode of UNC Hoops Talk. I'm your host, Dan DeWitt. It is Beat Duke week, last regular season game, last ACC game. Of course, big-time environment going to be happening inside Chapel Hill this Saturday. Game day, college game day will be there for the morning and obviously right before the game, all that good stuff. And, Tar Heels keep on winning. 2 more wins this week. We'll talk about those before we get into the Duke game. But before we get into that, I want to thank you for always joining and listening, watching, joining the conversation, and uniting Tar Heel Nation with me. So thank you for that and for the support that you guys give and feedback and all that. I love it. Before we jump into all the basketball stuff, I guess it's kind of housekeeping stuff, but upcoming podcast schedule-wise, I'm going to let you in and ask for a little bit of help as well from anybody that's interested to get in contact with me through social media or through here on YouTube, email, whatever it is. All those will be down in the description. Pretty much Instagram or Twitter, it's at alltarheeldan. Email unchoopstalk@gmail.com. Obviously, comment here on YouTube. I should see pretty much any of those. But get in contact me. The reason is because after this podcast, I will podcast next week to look back at the Duke game, whatever happens. Of course, hopefully a win. And then to kind of preview the ACC tournament. It'll be locked in, obviously, where we are. We'll be know who we play, what the bracket looks like, and what it takes for us to make a run in that, to win it, whatever, and get ready for the NCAA tournament. But then next week, Friday, hopefully I'll see Saturday, hopefully I'll see the semifinals. But for the championship, I'm going to be traveling on Saturday, and then I'll be gone the whole next week, going on a little mission trip with our church. To Alaska, actually. So hopefully I'll be able to keep up yet. I'll still have, my phone and all that. It'll work. So I'll be able to keep up, but won't be able to podcast. Don't even know how much I'll be able to watch. I'm going to actually miss the first 2 rounds, or actually the first 3 days of the tournament. I'm going to be back Sunday of that second round. So hopefully we play Friday, Sunday, but I'll miss selection Sunday, all that stuff. So no podcast. I'm going to still try to do a tournament challenge as we've always done for the podcast here. And so be watching on, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, for that, to join that. And I'll try to be able to do that yet. Hopefully we'll still be able to kind of tweet out the polls and score predictions that we've been doing before the games. Hopefully you've been joining in on those. Hopefully be able to do all that. But that's what I need your help with as well. In case I can't, somebody that can kind of fill in, maybe somebody that I can trust with my Twitter account a little bit. I don't know, possibly somebody that could podcast. Obviously, I can't give you what my predictions or my bracket's going to look like ahead of time, but I will fill one out, obviously, before, and then, run through it after the first weekend of games. And like I said, hopefully we'll play Friday, Sunday, so that I can watch Sunday's game. But even if we play Thursday, Saturday, look back at the whole weekend as college basketball and the NCAA March Madness looks like. And obviously how it's looked like for the Tar Heels and going forward as well into the bracket, hopefully, to podcast before the Sweet 16 Elite 8 games. I'm going to be kind of a little bit out of pocket. And so if there's people interested in helping me with the Instagram, with the Twitter, again, possibly the podcast, helping with the tournament bracket, all that stuff, the challenge, hit me up if you are. DM me on Twitter, on Instagram, again, email, comment here on YouTube, whatever it is, I'll get it, and we'll discuss that, see what it kind of looks like. I don't know what I'll be able to do, what I'll need help with, but just people that are available if they're willing. So, that's enough of that. Let's jump into the basketball of these podcasts. Tar Heels, 2 more wins over the weekend, or over the week that I've already mentioned. Gives us a 6-game winning streak. We've won 13 of the last 14. Obviously, only 2 in the ACC so far. We lost to Virginia and to Louisville. And just think, like Virginia, we easily could have beat them if Cam doesn't get hurt. Louisville, I mean, obviously they killed us that day, but not really a team that we, looking at even in the preseason, that we should have lost to throughout this season. Looks like a team that we should have beat, but just didn't show up that day, and they did. 2 games lost in the ACC so far, with just Duke left. But this week we took down Clemson, and we took them down not in pretty fashion. It was kind of an ugly win, 81-79. A little bit of controversy on the last play. people saying that the Clemson player was fouled. Still, he would have had made 2 free throws. We would have played it overtime. Not even, it doesn't get, plus there would have been time left. I don't remember how much time was left, but there was enough for Kobe to save it. We kicked it up to Kenny. Kenny kind of threw it up. That guy retrieved it and threw, a blast at the shot clock. Desperation. So, I mean, there probably would have been 5-6 seconds left. If they would have called that foul, if he makes both free throws, we call a timeout and run a play. We still could have won. It doesn't guarantee anything, but I also don't think was anywhere close to anything that refs are going to call in the last second there, or possibly even the whole game. Obviously, we know refs do call things differently in last seconds as opposed to throughout the rest of the game. But even earlier in the game, I don't know that would have been a foul they would have called. Not a lot there. Very desperate Clemson team. They not necessarily needed this win, but it would have pretty much solidified them getting into the tournament. A big win against Carolina, even though it was at their place. And they played with it like it. They were desperate and they fought hard. And we never really could go. We didn't shoot the ball great. Not horrible though either. 41% for the game, 39% from 3. Free throws were not good, 16 of 24 for 67%. Just wasn't a real pretty game for us. Only 13 turnovers again for us. So we've done a much better job there. We did out-rebound them, but just barely, 39-36. 11 offensive rebounds for us isn't anything really to write home about. A little bit of foul trouble. We had Garrison, Luke, and Kobe all with 4 fouls. And their inside guys were really making us pay. I don't know if I can find points in the paint here real quick. It doesn't look like they have it listed here, but I don't think we did a lot inside. They're actually Elijah Thomas, who is their other big guy. Another big guy had some damage. I don't remember his name, but a couple of big guys for them played pretty well, especially Elijah Thomas. Kind of intimidated us, I think, a little bit inside. And Luke didn't shoot well. Cam was pretty good. Kobe was more quantity, decent amount of shots made for him. And really, besides those 3 players, while nobody else was in double figures, Kenny had 9, but didn't shoot well as either. 0 for 5 from 3 for Kenny. But we were led by Kobe. 6 of 11 from 3 is pretty good. 9 of 16 is pretty good. 28 points. I guess saying that, I just think back like that is really good, but from what we've expected, I guess it talks about what he's done this season as a freshman too. We have to remember that. Also 5 assists, 6 rebounds, still 4 turnovers for Kobe. But again, we've learned that we need to accept that the way he plays and not that big a deal. After that, Cam Johnson shot 6 for 8 from 3, 6 for 11 overall, 19 points, just 2 rebounds from Cam. And he talked about this after the Boston College game about he saw he only had 2 rebounds, and he did do much better there. But and then Luke made another double, 13 and 10, 3 assists to go along with that and a block. Then, like I said, Kenny had 9, Garrison had 6. Nasir Little had 5, and that's pretty. We got 1 from Sterling Manley. Actually, only played like a few seconds. He came in and got the flagrant 1. Elbow to the face. And I guess, that's something else I haven't mentioned yet, but everybody, I'm sure, knows that. Anybody listening to this podcast knows anyway that Roy went down with his vertigo episode, like a minute and a half left in the first half. And so Coach Rob steps up. And also, that obviously can affect the players. When you see your coach go down, you don't know. It sounds like he did talk to him at halftime. They kind of knew he was okay. Knew what was going on, but that kind of shakes you as well. So for us to maintain and we even before he was out, we were losing most of the first half, and then late in the first half, 3-5 minutes left, something like that, we took our first lead in the game, and and then I don't think we gave it up at all after that. But it's credit to Coach Rob. It's credit to the guys for stepping up and getting that tough road win in the ACC. But not a lot of bench production. Nothing really to talk about here besides what we've said already. A tough road win, good effort from Clemson, and we pulled out an ugly one. We've talked about early in the season about needing to win a game ugly or needing to win games ugly, and I think we did that. We didn't. We shot the 3 decent. 39% is not nothing to cough at, but pretty good as well. 13 for 33 from three. Our assists were pretty good, 19. Like I said, turnovers weren't too bad at 13. But yeah, we just took care of business. One thing is our starters were all in 30 minutes play, except for Garrison, 26 minutes. But then we had Luke at 31. Cam at 35, Kenny at 37, Kobe at 36. So big time minutes. And then this year, Little's the only guy off the bench that got double figure minutes at 17. We had Seventh with 7, Brandon Robinson with 7, and the rest is just kind of here and there between Playtech and Sterling and Brandon Huffman. So definitely leaning on those guys. Again, Sterling Manley started to play a little bit here. I don't know what we can expect from him this season. Leaky Black, again, when he comes back, we don't know. What he's going to look like when he comes back, we don't know. So this is pretty much what we're running with. We're running with 6, I guess you'd say 7 guys between 7th and B-Rob off the bench there. Is pretty much what we got. But there's going to be a game, ACC tournament, NCAA tournament yet, maybe even Duke tomorrow or on Saturday, that we're going to need some help from the bench. And obviously we know Roy prepares them better than probably anybody, but it'll be interesting to watch that. But that's probably enough about the Clemson game. And then let's see, what was it? Last night we end our road games in the ACC, and we end up 9-0 on the road in the ACC, which has never been done by a Roy Williams team. And pretty incredible feat with the ACC the way it is. 3 top 5 teams to go undefeated in the ACC is pretty remarkable. So a good job by this team, led by Cam Johnson scoring. I guess I should say we won 79-66. 13-point win doesn't sound too impressive, especially the way Boston College has been this season. But they ended the game, they said, on a 10-0 run. So, we were up, obviously, 23. They ended up on a 10-0 run, so it only looks like 13. But pretty easy win here. We came out in the first half, looked really good. Got it up to 20-some points and never kind of looked back. And it's hard to stay sharp when you have that kind of lead and the play from the other team is just not up the same quality. Besides Ty Bowman, I guess they had another guy here, Popovich, 20 points. But again, it was I'm sure most in the second half because the game was just not that competitive. We really came out in the first half and never looked back. Cam Johnson led 22 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. Great line for him. Shot 3 of 7 from 3, 9 of 18 overall. Luke May, 17 points, 20 rebounds, 5 assists as well. 0 for 4 from 3, but 7 for 15 shooting. Kobe White did get to double figures, barely 11 points, 3 assists, only 1 turnover there. So you're watching Kobe White's turnovers. But he shot just 1 for 5 from 3. Kenny Williams was 1 for 5 for Kobe from 3. Kenny Williams, 2 for 5 from 3. Ended up, again, barely double figures, 10 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. Solid there. And then Nasir Little off the bench, 10 points, 7 rebounds, was really aggressive. Not always looking smooth. We didn't shoot awesome here. 42% for the field, 32% from 3, 62% from free throw. I guess that's something we need to start watching here. We haven't been shooting free throws well the last 2 games, but probably, again, not as focused there when you get a large lead than in a tight game where you need your free throws. 22 assists is a good number, again, for the Tar Heels. 11 turnovers, right about where we need to be. 5 steals, out-rebounded them 60-35, 20 offensive rebounds, and again, a place where Luke did a lot of damage there. He had 6 offensive rebounds, especially early, was really working hard, getting some of those putbacks and running the floor, getting layups. And again, not much to say here. We really just took care of business against Boston College here. And like I said, finished the road ACC play 9-0. So give the guys credit there. Minutes-wise, since we just talked about that here, Luke 33, Kobe 31, Cam 33, Kenny 26, Garrison 26, Nasir Little 17 again, and then B-Rob actually got 11, 7th, 8 minutes. And yeah, like we said, right there is what we're looking at. Playtech actually got 5 minutes, but again, you're looking at a game where we handled them most of the way. So minutes can't be looked at as closely in this one as opposed to a close game. So probably enough said about the Boston College win, which means then we turn our attention to the big game this Saturday. We got Duke coming to town, college game day with Jay Williams, Seth Greenberg, Jay Billis, of course, coming to town. It's a 6 p.m. Eastern tip, which is a little unusual. Usually this is the 8 p.m. Eastern tip on Saturday nights, but it is on ESPN. 6 p.m. Eastern tip. Obviously, Duke coming to town, senior night for Cam, Kenny, and Luke. We don't have any senior walk-ons, so the starting lineup will look exactly like it has. So that'll be a little unusual for a senior night. And then Michigan State actually plays after us. Why ESPN's doing that, who knows? But it's the way it is. I don't really mind it, except that if it was a later start, my kids would go to bed and I'd be able to enjoy it a little bit more peacefully. But hopefully they'll sit down and watch this Duke game as we obviously need to get them started on. They've been started on Tar Heels, but to actually start watching, they don't last very long watching the game. Still a little bit young for that, but hopefully with the Duke game they will a little bit, and I'll get to watch and pay attention well enough to as this one deserves. But Duke has said, or at least Coach K has said, he didn't think that Zion would play in this game. He said he wouldn't be ready. He said that he thought Zion would be ready for the ACC tournament, so we'll see what comes of that. I would not be surprised. They didn't rule Zion out for this game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the whole Willis Reed thing where they walk him out there, even if he doesn't start or doesn't play much, kind of for the emotional of, hey, we got Zion back. I wouldn't be surprised if they did dress him or even, played him some just to kind of mess with it. But, I think, again, our seniors hopefully will be able to handle that. And with him or without him, I think we can beat them. Not that it's going to be easy either way. If he doesn't play, that doesn't mean the game goes just like it did in Cameron. It's a little bit different when you lose a guy in the middle of a game, kind of like when you miss the coach, like Roy goes out in Clemson in the middle of the game, as opposed to if you know somebody's going to be missing and you prepare like he's going to be missing. So even if he's not there, I don't think we can just say we're going to beat Duke like we did last time. We're going to have to rebound. Inside play is going to be crucial. Remember how we killed them on points paint last game. Get them running, force them to shoot threes, and then we have to hope they're missing. Trey Jones missed a ton. Jack White was on that big streak of missing a whole bunch of threes in a row during our last game. They've hit some since then. Even Alex O'Connell has been playing a little bit more now without Zion. They all have been playing without Zion, getting a little more comfortable. So we got to come out ready to play. And yeah, it'll be an interesting one. Obviously, we know we can beat them. But Duke, Carolina games have gone either way, even when they're both not top 10. Right now we're 3-4, I think it is. I think we're third, they're fourth, 3-5 at the worst, depending what poll you're looking at. And big time game, again, 6 p.m. Eastern tip on ESPN. I'm sure we'll get Jay Billis since game day is there on the call. This is what we live for. This is why we're Carolina fans. We live to beat Duke, and a chance to sweep them with the freshmen they've had this year is awesome. If we do beat them, obviously it helps our case for a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. If we lose to them, it sounds like people aren't giving us a chance. I feel like if we beat them and we ran the table in the ACC tournament, then we could have a chance at a 1 seed yet. But on the same time, like, every time we win the national championship, we don't win the ACC tournament. If we were to beat Duke here, maybe lose to, I think we're both. If we lose, we wouldn't be the 1 seed in the ACC tournament. So we'd face Duke in the semifinals. If we lost him in the semifinals, get the extra day of rest, be a 2 seed in the tournament. I think I would be okay with that. Obviously, if we beat Duke in the ACC tournament as a 2 seed. Then I think I would rather just win the ACC tournament. If we're going to play in that championship, we might as well win it. Besides the whole jinx of we haven't won an NCAA tournament and an ACC tournament in the same year. But, we'll see. A lot to go on there. I know, again, I don't know that there's a way. I guess Virginia would have to lose this weekend. I don't know who they play, but they would have to lose on Saturday for us to get the 1 seed in the ACC tournament. So probably not likely there. We'll go in as a 2 or 3 seed. I think if we lose to Duke, I want to say here, again, if Virginia lost and Duke wins this game, I think they can still get a 1 seed. I don't know that Duke could fall below a 4, but I'm not sure either. Someone can check me on that. But yeah, we'll obviously talk about the ACC tournament some more next week. It'll start on Tuesday, but for us, it won't start till Thursday. Really Wednesdays when it starts. Tuesdays games nobody cares about here. So looking at Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, the semifinals, and the championship on Saturday, which I will be following on my phone. I will not get to watch live on TV, I doubt anyway. So yeah, again, let me know if you're willing to help out with that kind of stuff. And then obviously Selection Sunday, next Sunday, and getting in the NCAA tournament. We'll talk a little bit more about that next week. And then we'll obviously miss the podcast, but we'll be deep into the NCAA tournament when we come back for the podcast and into March Madness and all the glory it is. It's really hard for me to say I'm going to miss that first weekend. That Thursday, Friday are such an awesome time to watch college basketball, but it is what it is. It's 1 year, and hopefully the Carolina Tar Heels are still last in the tournament after that first weekend, so I'll still get to see most of their run to the championship, the Final Four, Elite Eight, wherever we make it to this year. But yeah, as far as around the country, Gonzaga, I think, has pretty much sealed their 1 seed. Virginia, I think, as long as they don't blow it this weekend and they make it to the championship of the ACC tournament, which they should, they got their 1 seed locked in. I don't know if Tennessee, Kentucky could get theirs. Kansas lost their streak. If you don't know, they lost their streak of Big 12 championships. They cannot win the Big 12 this year, so 14 years is what that streak stops at, which is still really remarkable. Just, I mean, unbelievable for any team to in their conference win 14 in a row, but in a major conference like the Big 12 is pretty incredible. And let's see what else around college basketball. I don't know about the Big 10 teams if either of those can get 1 seeds. Really, we're looking at Gonzaga, Virginia, either us or Duke, I think. And then I guess it's going to have to be, if Tennessee wins the SEC, they can. I don't know if LSU's, they haven't really been talked about it, but I guess if LSU wins the SEC, maybe they could. Michigan State, whoever wins Saturday, if they went on to win the Big 10, maybe they can get the 1 seed. That'll be interesting who gets that 4th 1 seed. And yeah, that's really the big games this weekend. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of important ones. Plus, if you're watching college basketball this weekend, don't forget about some of the smaller conferences have their tournaments this weekend as opposed to next weekend. So be watching those. Of course, there's usually the buzzer beaters, and these are the teams that have to win their tournament to get into the NCAA tournament. So those are fun games to watch when everything's on the line for those teams. So keep an eye on some of that stuff. But I think that's about all I got for basketball stuff or stuff that I know about. And we'll run through some questions, comments here on Twitter or on YouTube. If you ever want to leave a question or comment, I don't do it regularly, so you have to catch me live. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. You can catch me doing the podcast live in video and leave a question or comment. It's always fun to do this at the end here. But we got Andrew Brownback says, disappointed Zion won't be playing. We're coming from Wisconsin to our first Duke UNC game. That is awesome. Congratulations going to Andrew. I've been to a Duke-Carolina game in the ACC tournament. I've not been to the Smith Center, of course not to Cameron Indoor for a Duke-Carolina game. It's still a bucket list to go to the Smith Center for a Duke-Carolina game. So have fun. That's awesome. Was just there, a week and a half now ago for the Florida State game. And I can only, with game day there and then just the environment of a Duke-Carolina game is going to be awesome. So obviously safe travels from Wisconsin and have a blast there. Cheer him on to victory, of course. It is a little disappointing that Zion won't play for people watching, but also just for us to match up against him. Tar Heel Nation says, we look so good. I love Roy, best coach ever. Always have our team ready at the right time. We definitely are peaking here at the right time here. Tar Heel Nation says, we're 8 deep. Don't forget Nas. Nas was definitely in there. Obviously, our 5 starters, we got Nas is the main guy off the bench, and then we have B-Rob's been getting minutes. 7th has been solid as the backup point guard. So yeah, I guess that's 8, but I don't know if that's 8 deep. We don't play those guys a bunch. But Andrew Brown says, I'm sure we have played our best basketball. I'm sure we have, or we haven't played. I'm not sure what he meant there. We haven't had everyone available since January. Kenny hasn't played great. Nas hasn't played great. We have really tall ceiling, the roof. And then he goes on, I feel very good going into this weekend in conference tournament. We have to. I mean, again, if you look back to where we were at the end of December, beginning of January, a lot of teams were down on this team, and to look where we are now, it's phenomenal. Andrew Broncos is going to continue 9-0 in the ACC is a huge accomplishment. And he says the Duke game time almost killed my trip. Our flight comes in at 2:30 in Raleigh. You'll be all right, but yeah, that kind of stink. It doesn't give you as much time. I don't think you can make the museum then, and yeah, not as much time on Franklin Street and all that stuff. Obviously, you miss game day then if you're not coming in that morning. So that does stink, but glad that you're going to be able to make it there. Gosburn says 1982 ACC tournament champs over Virginia, NCAA champs over Georgetown. All right, I'm proven wrong then. I guess none of our Roy Williams. I don't even know about 93. 93, I guess we could have won the tournament. I don't know, but I was talking my era that since I've been watching. All Roy Williams championships have come after not winning the ACC tournament. But thank you for correcting me there, Gosburn. Andrew Brown says Virginia plays home versus Louisville. So there you go. They're at home. They should win again. We should have beat Louisville. Well, we did beat them at their place, but we should have beat them at home as well. So yeah, they should. Again, you never know what's going to happen in college basketball, but Virginia pretty solid and consistent. So Tar Heel Nation ends it here. I'm so sad it's almost over. I love college basketball. It is true, and that's why it kills me to miss that first weekend of college basketball. It goes so fast. Like the season, I would say it's long. For me, it's too short, but I don't think it's necessarily short either. But then when we get to March Madness, we have a weekend of conference tournaments, and then it's 3 weekends of March Madness or the NCAA tournament. They just go so fast. That Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the first weekend, just games nonstop and buzzer beaters and upsets and all this, and then we jump obviously into Sweet 16, Elite 8. Still pretty full days of basketball, and then obviously the Final Four championship. It just goes by way too fast, and then before you know it, March is over, and we're looking for things to do and waiting for summer to come. But yeah, it definitely goes way too fast here. And so Gosburn says 93, they lost to Georgia Tech in the ACC final. So there you go, our only championship with an ACC championship in 1982. So like I said, but obviously if we're going to be in it, we might as well win it. Andrew Brown says we're also staying for the ACC tourney. This could be the trip of a lifetime. That does sound like a trip of a lifetime. That's awesome, man. We'll be around Chapel Hill through Sunday, so I guess you'll get to do all that stuff. But that's pretty phenomenal. Duke game and then the ACC tournament, which is in Greensboro this year, right? Or Charlotte. I think it's Greensboro, right? So yeah, I went to an ACC tournament. Not necessarily just as a fan. If you've been watching or listening to the podcast long enough, a couple years ago I went media/fan kind of thing that I got hooked up with, and that was the only ACC tournament I've been to. That was in Brooklyn, so a little bit different than in North Carolina, but phenomenal experience. And yeah, it's great to be able to just watch again game after game after game. So enjoy that, Andrew. Stay connected definitely with me and here at the podcast. Thanks for watching, and yeah, would love to hear more and even see pictures and all the stuff that you get to enjoy. Definitely make sure we're connected here. Twitter, Instagram, here on Facebook, whatever you got, man. All right, as I'm talking here, as I'm babbling, I got to end this. But Andrew says, get this, one of my good friends is coming with me to the game this weekend and tourney after. He's a lifelong UNC fan, Jordan fanatic. He went to Pitt at Duke game 2 years ago and has switched. Ouch. Maybe I guess he was a Duke fan, switched to Carolina. I don't know, but hey, live it up, man. I got to end this. I've babbled on long enough, but I appreciate everybody that's made it this far. And again, if you're still listening, make sure you let me know if you want to help out with the podcast, or if you can help out with the podcast or my Twitter, whatever you can. Let me know, and we'll talk and discuss, and hopefully I can trust people not to steal and all that, my Twitter account. But so Andrew said he switched to a Duke fan. Is that unreal? I made him double down before he booked this trip to know where his allegiance is. That's very smart. But again, thanks for commenting. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys next week yet. And that's all I got. Until then, go Heels.